You know what I wondered? How do comedians become comedians? Like, is it just they have a lot of funny things that happen to them and they realize when they recap the story to other people it makes them laugh? Do they, like, decide one day, I plan to be a funny person? Or do they just happen to be a funny person or recognize that they make people laugh? One of my favorite things to do is to hear laughter behind me as I leave a room, knowing that it was like one of those, I'll leave this right here, and when you guys get it, it'll be as I'm leaving the room. And to me, that's like the greatest delivery, like one that people don't expect, I guess, that it was a funny thing that I said, and then it catches on. Um, I was wondering if anybody ever has those moments where you're like, oh man, that would have been a perfect thing to say. So I did a little rant yesterday about some people in Tractor Supply, and I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because I'm trying to, like, I woke up this morning going, I bet you they didn't wake up this morning going, oh yeah, we got over on those people at Tractor Supply. I'm sure that was such a natural part of who they were that they probably only talked about their little smug cutting everybody for as long as it took them to drive to the smoke shop. You know what I mean? Like, I guarantee you, it did not like stay in their focus or amongst their conversations. But the excuse they used that they wouldn't go to the back of the line was because they couldn't get through the maze of um, all the sale racks, all the sale items. I'm like, the perfect thing to say in a case like that was like, well, would it help you if I put a piece of cheese back there? You know? So, like, you can go through the maze and get to the cheese. Or are you trying to tell us that you're actually not as smart as a lab rat? I'm like, man, had the potential for that to really, because I'm so snarky, that it would have had to have enough snarkiness, but it would have had to have enough delivery that I didn't lose anybody in um, the actual execution of it, because you do it in like a story. Like, would it help you if I put a piece of cheese over there? um, it may take somebody a second to actually digest and comprehend even that part of the story. Where would you have to wait until they say what? Like, so you can go through the maze to get to the cheese? Like, or are you trying to tell me that you're not even as smart as a lab rat? The problem sometimes, I suppose, with trying to make something funny that's elaborate like that would be not to lose somebody in your sentences. Uh, I'm by no means a comedian, by no means, but I can recap a story and leave laughter behind me. So I know that, like, I think I was like maybe 30 years old when somebody told me that I was funny, and I never once ever connected being funny. Never once thought I was funny. And somebody's like, well, do you hear that? And I'm like, what? He goes, people laugh at the things that you say. Like, people laugh at your stories. That's funny. You're funny. Never once did I think of me as funny. And then, since then, I recognize that it's not really hard to make people laugh. It's not really hard to create laughter in a room. And I'm like, so does that make somebody funny? Does that, like, make me a funny person? Does that make my story funny? Is it a combination? I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny to say that I don't know what the definition of somebody being funny is. I know that I'm very animated. Like, when I recap a story, I'm very animated about the story. And I think, I do a lot of voiceovers for my horses, like Dewey. Well, this new little guy, Tucker, he's just so independent, right? He's just like, we walk through the stall door. I have to close all the other stalls so that like the only opening, the only option is door number 5. And he like runs by. I bring mommy in and we wait. And he'll come. He'll check in. I'll be like, okay, you guys get a table. I'll be back. And he takes off. And then we come back out and we look for him, and he's over there looking at something. It reminds me so much of Bentley. Bentley was the same way. Like, I'll catch you guys in a minute. And I can recap like that, like doing the voice of Tucker or whatever, and I can usually get a room involved in that story and leave having people. Is it uplifted? Is it laughing? Is it like you had a 3-second sitcom? Like, I don't know. I wish I believed I was like funny to where I could do anything with it, but um, when I think of funny things to say after the fact, it's like, man, that would have been so cool to say that, and like to say that because I had an audience. Like there had to have been 7 or 8 people in line that these people just totally disrespected, and I left there more mad because I just it makes me so mad that people blatantly disrespect other people. It makes me mad that people blatantly are rude to other people. And it didn't affect me. They tried to affect me. She tried to merge in front of me as if she was already, at that point in the count. But, I was quick to catch her and be like, oh no, you know. But so it didn't even affect me, like I made my point. I didn't let her go in front of me. But I left there mad at those 2 people because all the people behind me were cut by them. All the people behind me were impacted by how rude they were. And like I said, I guarantee you, they didn't think of it much longer than it probably took them to drive to the liquor store. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't think of it for more than like 5 more minutes, if at all. It just was very natural for them to do what they did. And, like, since I read body language, I could tell her pretending not to look down the aisle, even though she did at least 3 times, was so that she could be like, oh, I didn't see everybody. Her body language having that slight lean in my direction when the guy in front of me moved forward, when it was his turn to step up. She started to lean in my direction. I'm like, oh, no. No, the line's back there. But when the guy said, well, we know, we just can't get back there because, can't weave through all this stuff or whatever he said, and, like, definitely bringing up the image of a maze. And, man, I wish I could think on my feet. I wish I could be snarky in a complete delivery on my feet like that, because that would have been like, it would have been fun to create a room of laughter, basically putting these people in their place. But you think of it later. So I was just curious if anybody else thinks of stuff after the fact, and you're like, ah, man. I mean, we all have those moments where like somebody made us mad and we wanted to say something really mean, like we all have those, like, oh, I should have told them. I don't really have those kind of moments, I don't think, because if I'm mad, I don't hold back. I'm really an unfiltered person. But I don't like getting mad. I like to kind of find a comedy version of things. Hold on, just go ahead, bud. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Do you not see me? You're welcome. Like 3 hours later. Okay. Sorry. I'm like waiting for this guy. He must be sitting there because he got a landscape trailer behind him, so he probably figured he's stuck there for a while. So sure, pull out your phone, sit at the stop sign playing on your phone. And I'm like, go, got an opening, go. Guy's just sitting there. That's so annoying. Okay, I thought about doing a vlog, I guess is what they're called, like a video vlog, I even thought about doing like a video journal. I just listened to a book that was like a whole book about a girl. Was the book itself was the girl reading her, was like we were listening to her doing her video blog. It was actually kind of cool. It was a cool book right up until kind of the ending. The ending was a surprise, and yet, um, where was I going to go with that? And then kind of a disappointment. It was a surprise and then kind of a disappointment that the story really was what it was. Anyway, so you didn't need to know about that stupid book. I don't even know the name of it, so don't ask. All right. Okay. Okay. Ready? Okay. I'm gonna say goodbye now. Bye now.